Good evening to all the attendees here in India, and good morning to Ms. Lauren Nelson from Elgin Community College. We know it's early in the morning out there, so we truly appreciate your kind time and support in joining us for the Knowledge at KPT Admissions 101 Workshop Series session. On the session topic, Exploring Benefits of Community College and 2+2 Pathways. We have an audience of 12th grade students, parents, and guidance counselors who are joining in today. So we truly appreciate your kind time to all the parents and students and counselors for joining us this late in the evening. Please also welcome Ms. Lauren Nelson, who is very excited to present to you today. As shared in the outreach email, this session is recorded and will be shared with your school so that other students and parents can also view the session after it's over. And also, most importantly, as Ms. Lauren is presenting, please feel free to post your questions in the Q&A box so that Ms. Lauren can answer these questions towards the end once she's done with the session presentation. As a final point, as you know from the outreach emails that have been shared with you, the first 30 minutes is going to be about her institution, Elgin Community College, which is located in Ohio. I'm sorry, Illinois, USA. And her second 30 minutes is going to be about exploring the benefits of community college. I think I spoke it the other way around. So I apologize for the quick confusion because I know we are in time. But students, first the session topic, second the institution. However, without further ado, I think I should hand over the stage as well as the microphone to Miss Lauren, and she'll be taking it from here. Thank you so much, Lauren. I wish you all the best, and thank you once again for your kind time.
Thank you very much. Good evening, and I hope all of you are doing very well today. Here in very hot and sunny Chicago, it is 9 o'clock in the morning. So I'm very happy to be with you today. And today I'd like to share a little bit about what the community college is and exploring the benefits of the community college and 2+2 pathways. So what we're going to cover today is some very macro level topics, such as what is a community college and why you should consider a community college in the United States. There are many benefits of attending a community college, so we're going to cover those, as well as understanding the 2+2 pathway and why location and housing matter very much in your choice of institution that you attend. Then we will explore a little bit about Elgin Community College, which is just outside Chicago. And then we will have some time for Q&A, as was just discussed. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself first. I have been in the field of international education for more than 15 years. I'm a former international student myself, born in the United States, but did my master's level studies in England. So I'm very familiar with the challenges that come along with being an international student. I have experience at community colleges, four-year universities, and developing international campuses. I'm currently the Director of International Education and Programs at Elgin Community College, and I've been there for 12 years. I have a bachelor's degree from Truman State University, which is in Missouri, the state of Missouri, a master's from the University of Westminster in the UK, and a PhD from Illinois State University. I really do like to share a little bit about myself because I think when you're considering a college or when you're developing relationships, you're not just developing a relationship with an institution, but also with individuals. And that is really the basis for student mobility and international education. So I am the mom to 3 young boys. We are a very busy family, so I enjoy spending time with my family and helping out with animal rescue and welfare. And I love water sports and reading. So I hope that tells you a little bit about myself. So let's talk a little bit about the US system of education and how the community college fits into this. So this may look very familiar to you, this diagram. And I like this diagram because it's very visual in where associate degrees in community colleges fit into the overall system of US higher education. So we have over 1 million students. This year it was 1.2 million international students in the United States. It is one of the top destinations for international students in the world. And one of the reasons for that, I believe, is not only the quality of the educational system, but also the flexibility of the educational system. So here in the US, you have your primary schools, and then you have your junior and senior high schools, which we refer to as secondary schools, and that is your 7th through 12th grade. Very similar to a little bit of the British system of education. After students complete their high school education and they go for their undergraduate degree, there's two pathways. The first pathway is you can go directly to university, which tends to be a little bit more expensive if you're going to a public college, and obviously much more expensive if you're going to a private university. And then the second pathway is students who start at a community college and will go there for 2 years, and then they will transfer to a university and complete their bachelor's degree. So this is what we're going to talk about today, is the community college and what it is, and why it is something you should consider. Now, when we talk about higher education in undergraduate, we have first, second, third, and fourth years. So freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. In community colleges, it's going to be your freshman and sophomore years. Okay, right here. So community colleges are also known as two-year colleges, and they offer the first 2 years of a bachelor's degree. The degrees awarded upon completion are typically Associate of Arts, Associate of Science, or Associate in Applied Science. But there are many more, and we will talk about those. Community colleges also offer career technology programs in addition to academic programs, also short-term certificate programs and non-credit community programming. Many students choose to complete an associate degree at the community college and then transfer to that four-year university, whereas other students, including international students, will come for short-term certificate programs, which can last anywhere from 1 to 4 semesters, that prepares them for immediate employment upon graduation. More than 8.7 million students attend community colleges in the United States. So roughly about 40% of all undergraduates in the United States start at a community college. These are comprehensive institutions. So I think one of the myths that we see of community college is that they only offer career technology programs such as like automotive technology, welding, health professions programs like nursing or physical therapy, things along those lines. And that is not true. Community colleges are academic, comprehensive institutions. And while they do offer career technology programs, about 60% of all students who attend a community college are going to be on an academic or a university transfer pathway. In any given year, there's about 95,000 international students enrolled at community colleges. And in my opinion, this is one of the best kept secrets in American higher education. As more people become aware of what community colleges are and the benefits of attending a community college, popularity and interest is increasing. And we've seen that in many different countries. India is one of those countries where the concept of the community college to a pathway to top universities in the US is increasing. But you also see it as a very, very popular option in some countries such as South Korea, Vietnam, and Brazil. So a couple things that you may want to consider when you're looking at choosing a community college. These are the fundamental reasons why a student would choose a community college, and that would be your 2+2 transfer programs. So very, very simple concept, which can be a little complex, but at its most fundamental, a 2+2 transfer program is 2 years at the community college, which will culminate in an associate degree, and then transferring to a university where you do your junior and senior level classes, and you culminate in a bachelor's degree. Affordability. Community colleges are much less expensive than four-year institutions, and many offer scholarships, even for international students, and you can save time and money by attending these institutions. In addition, these institutions offer flexibility and quality, Very small class sizes. You are not likely to see a class size in excess of 25 to 30 students at any community college. These are quality academic programs. So they are accredited institutions that are held to the same standards by their accrediting body as universities. And you can also transfer or have immediate employment after graduation. So let's talk about the benefits of community college. First and foremost is cost and affordability. Whether you are a US student or whether you are an international student, tuition at the community college is going to be significantly less than at a four-year university. If you are looking to attend university in the United States and have a limited budget, or you are looking at an affordable option for those first 2 years, community college is the way to go. You are looking at probably saving tuition is probably a tenth of what you are going to see at the university. And one of the reasons for that is because most community colleges are public institutions, and they are supported not only by the state, but also by local property taxes. So because they are funded partially by the state, that brings the overall tuition cost down. Community colleges offer a much easier transition to American culture and academia than a very large research university. So let me give you an example. When you come to the United States to study, it can be a very scary experience. I remember when I was an international student, even though I had completed my undergraduate education, I had studied abroad a couple of times during my undergraduate years. But I made the decision to complete my master's degree in the UK, where I lived for 3 years. And even though the culture was, very similar, and the language was the same as, they spoke English, everything was different. From how do I get myself around, to differences in the style of education. And I think when you are at the university, the freshman experience is very, very critical to your university career overall. And starting at a community college, you have benefits because you have smaller class sizes and faculty are going to be accessible. So you are not going to be taught by a TA or a GA, a graduate assistant or a teaching assistant, while the faculty member on the roster is conducting research in a closed office somewhere. At a community college, you have access to your faculty, you have access to your advisors, and it's very, very easy to have access to those faculty, which can ease your transition to American culture and academia. Transfer options, additionally, are a huge benefit of the community college. So many community colleges have what is called a transfer services department or a transfer advising department. And the mission of that department, the responsibility of that department solely is to make sure that the 2+2 options that are available to students are clear, are simplified, and are up to date. So what that means is that if you start in a program that is a 2+2 program to a research university partner, you will know what classes you need to take and in what order from day one when you step on campus. And so the transfer options are very flexible. You can have multiple transfer educational plans if you like, and you can transfer to most any institution in the United States. Another benefit of the community college is that you're going to be an individual and not just a face. So one of the aspects of American higher education is very much individuality and independence. So students are expected to think critically and pursue their coursework, in collaboration with their faculty and their classmates, but also independently. So it's very much an individualized system of education. And at the community college, you're going to have intimate and small class sizes. It is not uncommon to have group work in class. It is not uncommon to have very lively discussions because it's easily manageable in a class where you don't have any more than 25 students. Community colleges are also known as welcoming, inclusive, and diverse campuses. Most community colleges are going to serve a wide variety of students, from traditional undergraduate students who are enrolled full-time and looking to transfer to university, to adult students who may work part-time and go to school part-time. So it really just depends on what the campus is and what the population is. But most community colleges are going to be very diverse and very inclusive in their mission statements. Some of you may have heard of the community college, and I hope the information that I've just given you kind of clarifies a little bit about the benefits of community college. You may also have heard of something called the 2+2 pathway, okay, also known as transfer. And like I've indicated before, it's a very simple concept. It's 2 years at community college, 2 years at university, and it culminates in your bachelor's degree. So in my opinion, if you are looking to gain access to an institution with smaller class sizes that's affordable and provides you with support services, starting at a community college is a no-brainer. And here in the United States, more and more American students are starting at community college and then transferring to four-year universities. And one of the reasons for that is because even though you started at community college, which are typically open access, open admission institutions, you can transfer to top ranked American universities through something called transfer admission guarantees. And basically what that means is a transfer admission guarantee. If you meet certain GPA requirements during your time at the community college and you've taken the required classes, you are guaranteed a spot at the university that you wish to transfer to, into the program that you wish to transfer to, because that university has set aside a certain number of seats in that program as part of their transfer admission guarantee partnership with that local community college. So for example, let's say you want to study at a major university such as the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign is a top 50 world university. It's about 2.5 hours south of where I am right now, just outside Chicago. And if you begin at a community college, and let's say you wanted to transfer to University of Illinois, you would be able to do so with a transfer admission guarantee. And University of Illinois, which has a very, very, very high application rate, the transfer admission rate is 51%, which is higher than the acceptance rate for incoming freshmen. So it is a benefit of the community college to start a program with a tag to a major university of your choice, because you're able to take the sequence of classes that you need and be guaranteed a spot in that program as long as you have the high enough GPA and you've taken the required courses. I do see there are a couple of questions. Let me see if I can. I'm going to answer these questions at the end of the presentation. Before we get into the part about Elgin Community College. So if you want to just keep them coming in the chat box, that would be fine. Some factors to remember in choosing a 2+2 pathway. Although this is a benefit of the community college, these 2+2 pathways and transferring to top universities, here are some tips for making sure that your 2+2 pathway is a success. It is important to choose your major and your intended transfer institution as early as possible. If you know from day one that you want to study business at the University of Southern California, then that is something that puts you ahead of other students who are what we call undecided. So some students may come into college with absolutely no idea of what they want to study, and that's totally fine. That's one of the the beauties of the American system of education is that you can take a wide variety of classes to help you choose your major. But if you know what you want to study and you have a good understanding of the industry that you want to go into and the school you want to transfer to, you will know from day one what classes you need to take, and you won't take any unnecessary classes that may not transfer. It's important that you review your transfer courses regularly. So that means meeting with your academic advisor on a regular basis. We recommend that students, regardless of residency, that they meet with their academic advisor at least once a semester to make sure that they're on track and taking the correct classes for their transfer program. It's also important to stay in touch with the transfer admissions office or officer at your intended transfer institution. So for example, going back to our last example, if you wanted to transfer from a community college to the University of Illinois, it would be important for you to not only be in regular contact with your academic advisor at the community college, who's going to be there to support you and lead you through your classes and help you register, but also touching base maybe once a year or so for those first 2 years with your transfer admissions office to let them know that you plan to submit an application and that you're looking forward to transferring, and letting them know of your plan and intention to transfer. In a 2+2 pathway, it's also important to study, okay? So we all know it's important to study to get good grades, but it matters even more when you're on a tag, because you may have to meet certain requirements such as a 3.5 GPA, a 3.0 GPA, depending on where you will go, the prestige of the university that you intend to transfer to. So GPA really does matter. So it is very important that you study and that you have good study skills and good grades at the community college. I also recommend that when you're on a 2+2 pathway, you don't need to take any unnecessary courses. Now, of course, if you want to take a course for personal interests, or you want to explore a different topic that maybe you're interested in, of course, that is something that you can do because these institutions are very flexible. But if you're looking to be in a very prescribed program where you finish those 2 years on track at the community college, then it is important that you don't take any unnecessary classes. It can be tempting to take, if you're very much interested in let's say, business management, which is very popular at community colleges. Business is a very popular program of study. You don't need to take Business 101, 102, 103, 104, just because those sequence of classes may exist. You only need to take the classes that are required for your articulation agreement or transfer degree to the university. And then again, I also recommend that you apply for scholarships. Many universities offer special scholarships for transfer students, and these can be quite high. Some colleges and universities I've seen for students with very good GPAs can get anywhere between $10,000 and $15,000 a year with tuition assistance. So the higher your GPA, the more likely you are to qualify for these scholarships. There are some factors also that you will want to consider when you are choosing a community college. So now that we know what a community college is, we've talked a little bit about what the 2+2 transfer pathway is. Here are my recommendations for factors to consider in choosing a community college. Location. Okay, now this goes without saying. It is important to know that just as there are so many different types of universities and colleges in the United States, there are many different locations too. You have rural locations, suburban locations, urban locations. You have locations that are very much college towns, others that are, smack dab in the middle of a huge city. And so it's important to know what you as an individual like and how you will be successful in the location of the university or college that you choose. Cost. Many students, I think, underestimate the cost of a college education. There is something called a college calculator cost, or a cost calculator that can be found on many community colleges websites or university websites under financial aid. The financial aid department or the student accounts department is required by federal law to lay out the costs very clearly for students. And so it's important to know that cost includes more than just tuition and room and board. You're going to have, personal expenses. You're going to have travel expenses. You're going to have health insurance expenses. So it's important to make sure that that you know what the cost is and that you're very clear with what your budget is. It's also important to know to make sure that your community college is accredited. Now, here in the United States, accreditation is handled a little bit differently than in most countries. So we do have a Department of Education at the federal level, but the accreditation bodies in the United States, there are 6 regional accreditation bodies. And those bodies are recognized by the U.S. Department of Education as being quote unquote bona fide accrediting bodies. And regional accreditation is the highest type of accreditation that an institution can obtain. So most of your public, most of your well-known universities, most of your community colleges are going to be accredited by one of these 6 regional accrediting bodies. But if you're also going into a very specific type of program, such as business or nursing or a health professions field, you will also want to look at program accreditation. So you want to make sure that that program that you're going into is accredited by the appropriate industry accrediting body. You will also want to consider academic programs, okay? So some community colleges offer more types of academic programs than other community colleges. This is largely based on geographic location. Community colleges that may be in very rural locations are more likely to offer more agricultural programs and more programs maybe related to solar energy or something that is unique to their local market than a community college in downtown Chicago, who most likely is not going to offer an academic program in agricultural science. So it's important for you to know, have an understanding of, or at least an inkling of what it is that you want to study. So if you know you want to study sociology or social sciences, you should be okay at pretty much any community college. But if you want to study nursing or physical therapy assistant or radiography, those are going to be programs that are only held at select community colleges. So make sure you do your research and you know which community colleges are offering academic programs for you. It's also important to consider ESL and intensive English programming. In India, we don't see this as much, obviously, because English is very widely spoken. But sometimes, you may need some additional assistance with academic prose or academic writing. And so intensive English programming can be helpful in those situations. Student support services are also very important to consider. So I strongly recommend that you consider not only a community college, but also your transfer institution and take a very good look at the student support services that they offer. Are they offering immigration advising? Are they offering very flexible appointments and virtual appointments for students during COVID-19? Is there academic advisors readily available? Is there wellness services and a health center on campus, or can you easily access health, mental health and physical health services? Is there a disabilities office? Is there an admissions office? So these are things that you want to consider. And the best way to look at that is to check out a community college's website. Most student support services will be very clearly outlined on the community college website. And so I do encourage you to take a look at that. And finally, housing. Many community colleges do not offer residential halls or what is known as dormitories. Some do, a lot of them don't. So most students who attend a community college will have to either work with the college to develop a local housing plan, or they'll find housing on their own. So housing options range from a local apartment that you rent on your own to homestay options. And housing, I think, is a very, very critical component of the community college experience. If you have a solid and safe housing option, I think it goes a long way into promoting your academic success. And so out of all of these factors, you know, we know that academic programs speak for itself. It's very important. Accreditation is very important. But when we look at the overall experience, the U.S. College experience, there's two of these that I just want to delve into real fast. And that is location and housing, okay? So where you choose to go to college makes a difference. And we've talked a little bit about this, about these different settings in the United States. Now, like India, the United States is a very big country with lots of different settings. You know, you have mid-sized cities, you have small cities, you have very large cities like Chicago, which is the third largest city in the United States. So it's important to know where you're going to be comfortable. The safety and security of the location that you choose is also very important. So one tip to looking into the safety and security of the college or the university that you're going to choose is to look at something called clery information, okay? So every institution is required to disclose their any crime that may happen on campus through something called the Clery Act. And this information is typically on a university or community college's webpage. It is required by federal law. And so if you can do some research and you look into you know, the safety and crime rates, which exist everywhere throughout the world, then you are going to have a better understanding of how safe and secure your campus is going to be. So for example, you know, at our institution, we're in the suburbs. Chicago is a very, very large city, and there are pockets of Chicago that are much, much safer than others. But in the suburbs, especially in the suburb that we're located in, it's a very safe suburb, and we're very proud of the safety and security of our campus. So that is something that does make a big factor in your college choice, because of course we don't want you to go to somewhere that is unsafe. Again, affordability, know your budget, okay? Know your budget and know the cost of living. There are cost of living calculators. If you can do a quick Google search for that and just look at the cost of living. So obviously the cost of living is going to be much more expensive in larger cities than it is going to be in more rural communities. As a general rule of thumb, the West Coast and the East Coast, especially the Northeast, like Boston, New York, you know, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, those kind of places, Washington, D.C., are going to be much more expensive in terms of living costs than places in the Midwest or in the South. So that is definitely something that I recommend that you look at when you're when you're looking at the location of the college or university you want to choose. Transportation. If you are in a city, it is more than likely you will have access to public transportation. Okay? Here in Chicagoland, which Chicagoland is the term we use to refer to the wider Chicago metro area, we have public transport in the form of trains known as Metra, CTA, which is our downtown subway system, and then we also have PACE, which is our public bus transport system. But many, many Americans have cars. That is very popular in the United States. Is many students have cars, and so it is important to kind of consider how you're going to get around, especially if you're in a rural area. And along with that, you want to make sure that you have access to the daily resources and social activities that you're going to need to ensure your academic success. So things that you may want to consider are, how far away is the grocery store? Is delivery available, whether it's food or groceries? Is there a local hospital or health center nearby in case you get sick? and you need to see a doctor, how far away are those resources if they're not available, readily available on the campus? So those are things that you are going to want to consider when you are choosing your location. In addition, where you live is very important. So whether you live in an apartment or you live in a dorm or you live in a homestay, can make a difference in your college choice. So one of the things that I strongly encourage international students to look at is living in a homestay, at least for your first semester, in the United States. So I want to tell you a very quick story. When I was an international student, I went to the United Kingdom, and I chose to live off campus because I was a graduate student, which meant that I was responsible for finding my own apartment and my own flat to live in. And if you've ever been to London, or you're familiar with the London housing scene, then you know things are very expensive and they move very fast. And for a student, it can be a little overwhelming. And so I ended up actually living in a hostel for about 6 weeks before I found a flat in the UK that was the location that I wanted and was affordable. And those are things that sometimes you have to deal with when you decide to live off campus. And I think that when you're coming to a new country, you may not know anybody. It can be very overwhelming to have to make those decisions and to have to make, navigate different housing schemes and the local market when you don't know what that looks like or what a fair price is. And so that's why homestay can be a very, very good option. Homestay is simply living with a local American family. And so homestays are typically much more affordable than living in an apartment or living in a dorm, because you don't have to worry about furniture, you don't have to worry about utilities. You just kind of come in, you drop your stuff, and you're home. So things that you want to consider in a homestay are, the type of homestay. Is it a family? Is it one individual? Is it a flat, an apartment, a townhouse, a standalone home? And how far away it is from the institution. You also want to consider how the institution recruits, retains, and vets host families, okay? So not all homestay programs are created the same. And this is a question that if you are going to consider a community college and they offer a homestay program, you definitely want to ask, well, how do you recruit and how do you vet your host families? How do you make sure that these host families are safe and they're going to offer me a caring and welcoming experience? Vetting of homestay families can range from interviews to home checks to background checks through police fingerprinting. So it does run the gauntlet of the variety of what institutions require. So it is something I strongly recommend that you look at. In addition to that, you want to know whether or not the homestay that you're considering is managed in-house by your college, or if it's a partnership with a third party like a vendor. I'm a huge proponent of in-house homestay development. That is where the college itself manages manages all aspects of the program. So if you ever run into a situation where, let's say, you get sick and you need someone, your homestay family may not be around, and you need somebody to take you to the emergency room, instead of having someone you may not know from the homestay program who's run by an outside company come and help you or call you and guide you through what you need to do, if it's managed by a college, you're going to know who that person is because you've been working with that person to get your application in for homestay and make sure that you have a good match with your host family. So I think that the relationships and the management of in-house programs are a little bit easier for students, just because you are more familiar with the people that you're working with, okay? And finally, you also want to consider, again, the safety and security of your homestay. Homestays tend to be very safe, very secure, because you're living in a family environment. And families that are in these programs are typically in it because they want to share American culture. They want to welcome international students to the United States and learn about your culture as well. Okay. So in summary, when we look at the benefits of community college and 2+2 pathways, we want to remember that community colleges are an excellent choice for affordability, quality academic programming, and 2+2 pathways. Community colleges offer a variety of associate degrees. There are many associate degrees I did not mention, and the most popular ones are the ones that I did mention that would most typically be for career technology or university transfer programs. So please do look at the community college that you're considering and make sure that you choose the appropriate degree, especially if you want to transfer to a top university with a transfer admission guarantee. Finally, make sure you check the college's accreditation, both regional or national and programmatic accreditation, the location, the academic offerings, transfer out options, and housing. And I do strongly recommend that you consider Homestay. It's a great option for acclimating to American culture, even if you're only there for one semester. You know, even if you're there for only one semester, it gives you the groundwork. It gives you an opportunity to just kind of relax and learn a little bit about the area that you're going to be calling home for the next 2 or 3 years. And then you can find your own housing to satisfy your own independent living. Okay. So now I do see that is the end of my presentation here about exploring the benefits of community college. I do want to talk a little bit about Elgin Community College, but before we get there, I'm going to answer a couple of these questions here in the chat box. So the first question we have here is from Vineet, and it's, do community colleges offer guaranteed transfer to U.S. universities? The answer to your question is yes. So every community college is going to offer some type of guaranteed transfer to a U.S. university. It depends on the program and the university that you want to go to. So think of it as transfer admission guarantees are built not only just by university, but also by program. So a community college may have a tag with a research university, a U.S. university in business management, but they may not have one for sociology. We have another question here. At the end of the program, which institution will give me the degree, the community college or university? That is an excellent question. At the end of your community college experience, you will have to complete the associate degree. So when you finish the community college, you will receive the associate degree to indicate that you've graduated with your Associate of Arts or Associate in Science. And then when you transfer to the university will issue your bachelor's degree. Okay. Now that is the typical kind of time frame that students use. Some students transfer to a university before they complete their associate degree. It's not typically something I recommend, because if you have the associate degree, typically your university will take that as a package and it'll satisfy all of your undergraduate first and second year required coursework. But again, that is why it's important to talk with your academic advisor on a regular basis. But in general terms, the community college will issue the associate degree, the university will issue the bachelor's degree. Armand has a question. Will community colleges lead us to any majors that are available in university? Yes. So think of it as kind of like a marriage of curriculum, right? So the community college let's say you want to study engineering. So the community college is going to offer the 100, the 200 level courses in the engineering program, and then that is going to seamlessly transfer to the university. It's kind of like a marriage of the curriculum, so that the engineering that you've chosen at the community college, those classes will transfer to the university. Sia, I hope I pronounced that right. Sia, what is the minimum GPA requirement to gain admission to community college and transfer to university? The answer to that is it's going to vary. So the more prestigious the university, the lower the acceptance rate to that university, the higher the GPA is going to be to transfer to that university. So I can give you an example. So we don't require a minimum GPA to gain admission to the community college. We do admissions based on placement testing once you've arrived. And so let's say you wanted to transfer to the University of Illinois at Chicago. which is an urban university, you would need a GPA of around 3.5. If you wanted to transfer to a regional university, such as, let's say, Northern Illinois University or University of Wisconsin, Parkside, you may be able to do a lower GPA of about a 3.0, but most universities are going to require a minimum GPA for transferring of about a 2.75 or above. Again, it's going to depend on the program that you transfer into and what the admissions requirements are for that particular university. Samitha has a question. Would it be easy for international freshman students to get visas for community college admission, as we are going to be transferring after 2 years? The answer to that question is it's no harder to get a visa for a community college if you're going for an academic program than it is for a university. So even though you're going to community college and you may be transferring after 2 years, most community colleges are going to issue the form I-20 for about 3 years, just in case you need additional time to complete your degree. And so we haven't seen any, our visa approval rates are in line with universities. And many community colleges are well known. Some community colleges are larger than even 4-year universities. I mean, we have over 10,000 students at my institution, just on the academic side of the house, and compared to some smaller liberal arts colleges, we're a very large institution. So the answer to your question is it's about the same. Another question here from Krishi. I hope I pronounced that right. What would typically be the student to faculty ratio? Right, so that's an excellent question as well. 20 to 25 students to 1 faculty is going to be the typical ratio for community colleges. Lavanya has another question. As sometimes it may be difficult to understand the classroom learning, what kind of academic support will I receive as an undergraduate student? That is an excellent question. Academic support is typically offered through your department or through tutoring. At my institution, we do offer free tutoring for all students. We also offer something called Early Alert Program, which allows students that may be struggling at the very beginning of their studies to connect with an academic advisor or a judicial affairs advisor who will be able to provide them with some academic support. But one of the things that you also have to remember at the community college is that community colleges are teaching colleges. And what that means is that the faculty who are teaching, many of them have terminal degrees. So to teach at a community college, you typically have to have at least a master's degree in your field of study. There are specific requirements that are required for every individual field. But if you're teaching in an academic type program like English, sociology, business, math, you need at least a master's degree. And so these faculty have chosen to teach at the community college because they're going to be able to help you more. They have more one-on-one student contact than you may have with an instructor or a faculty member at a large research institution. So faculty hold something called office hours, and office hours are there for students to access the faculty and to ask questions of coursework outside of the classroom experience. So in addition, student support services tend to be very strong in community colleges. So if you have a disability and you need additional time on tests or a quiet environment to take your tests, then that can be arranged as well with the appropriate paperwork. Another question here. Can you share the application admission requirements for Elgin Community College? Yes, I'm going to share that. I do have some very brief slides to share with you about ECC. And also, I see your question here about the transfer success of ECC and information about our current international students. We have international students from over 25 different countries. We do have students from India on campus. We do in Elgin, in the Elgin area, we do have a very diverse community. There is a substantial Indian population in the area. And so we do have students from India as well as other countries as well. And then the transfer success rate, we will address that as well. So I'm gonna get into the next part of our presentation. I know we're running a little bit long, so if you bear with me, I will just run through these slides as fast as I can so that we can have a little bit more opportunity for questions. So let me tell you a little bit about Elgin Community College. This is a picture of our beautiful campus. We are a public institution of higher learning. We are a top 150 community college as designated by the Aspen Institute, which is kind of like the rankings for community colleges. And there's over 1,400 community colleges in the United States, and we are in the top 150. We are very proud, and we work very, very hard year after year to continue that designation. We have over 10,000 students. With our community programming and our ESL, we range anywhere between 15 and 18,000 students in any given year, and our student to faculty ratio is 20:1. We were founded in 1949, and we're fully accredited by the Higher Learning Commission of the North Central Association. We have 138 degree and certificate programs and 2+2 university transfer partnerships to top institutions. So we are dedicated to making a U.S. higher education affordable and accessible. So our annual tuition is about $9,500 per year, which is full-time, 12 semester hours per semester. And when you compare that to the average public university, you're looking at substantial savings. So public universities are typically $25,000 per year, and that doesn't include room and board. Average private university, $35,000. So by attending ECC for the first 2 years, you can save over $50,000, and you're getting the same classes that you would at the university. So plus room and board. So don't forget those incidental additional expenses we talked about. So let's talk about a little bit about ECC. So here is the United States, and here is the state of Illinois. To give you some comparison, the big states that everybody knows, here's California. Everybody loves California. Here's Florida. Everybody loves Florida. Here's Texas. And then here, right in here is New York City. So we are smack dab in the middle of the United States, just outside Chicago, about 60 kilometers outside Chicago, and about 25 minutes driving to O'Hare International Airport. So we're very centrally located in the United States, just outside Chicago, which is great. Elgin itself is the 8th largest city in the state of Illinois. It has a population of over 112,000 people, which for a suburban city in the United States is quite large. It is a very, very popular and very safe and growing suburb of Chicago. Lots of young professionals, lots of families, lots of students are moving. Maybe they're not. Chicago's growing is a very dense city downtown, so many people are moving to the suburbs because we have easy access to downtown via train, car, and public transport. We have very popular landmarks, including the Grand Victoria Casino, the world famous Elgin Symphony Orchestra, Yale Borden Public Library, and then Woodfield Mall, which I don't know if you like shopping, but I'm a big shopper. I love shopping. I love, just kind of looking around, whether it's for shoes or clothes or household goods. And Woodfield Mall, our international students love Woodfield Mall. It is the largest indoor mall in the state of Illinois. It has hundreds of stores. It's kind of like Mall of America, maybe just a little bit smaller, but they have some really great stores there. Macy's and Neiman Marcus, Apple, Sephora, Nike, lots and lots of different stores. And we are set along the Fox River, which is a main river in the state of Illinois. And so there are lots of safe and fun things to do in the area. Lots of students like going down to Lake Michigan. They do shopping, they do community and cultural excursions. And it's kind of like the best of both worlds because you can have the country. If you want to go out to the country, it's only, an hour, hour and a half outside Chicago. Or if you want to go to downtown Chicago, it's only 45 minutes from Elgin. Okay. So here's some pictures from around Elgin and Chicago. This is the Fox River that I was talking about earlier. And then this is the beautiful city of Chicago. built on Lake Michigan. If you've never been to Chicago, it is a hub for culture, sports, the Bears, Michael Jordan. We're big Michael Jordan fans here in this house, and education, business, law. So lots and lots of fun things to do down in Chicago, and a great place to network. One of the things that we do as an institution every year is we take our international students on different cultural excursions around Chicago. We visit the botanical gardens. We visit the Bean, which is this silver thing right here, where people you can take your picture next to it, and it kind of reflects neatly on the architecture of Chicago. We do the riverboat cruise, and we also visit Navy Pier, which is down here on the bottom. These are some pictures from around our campus. Our campus was renovated from top to bottom in 2012. So many of the buildings have state-of-the-art technology. So this building on the upper left is our health and life sciences building. So if you have to take a biology lab, if you're going to do a health professions program, you will be in this building, which is 3 floors and has hospital type equipment that is state-of-the-art. So you're learning on the most up-to-date lab equipment if you're going into a field of science. This is our library, our academic learning center, and then this is a visual view of our campus. This lake is quite large. It goes all the way around kind of here, and it's called Lake Spartan. We offer a variety of degree programs. We also offer a full-time intensive English program. The most popular programs that we have in terms of degrees are the Associate in Arts and the Associate in Science. We also offer basic vocational and vocational specialist certificates. Those are going to be programs that are 1 or 2 semesters long. And then our university transfer program, that's what we call our 2+2, which offers transfer admission guarantees to top universities. I'm just going to briefly touch on our intensive English program. Many Indian students do not need this, but if you feel like you do, we have a very flexible program that allows you to build language skills on what you need, not on what a test will tell you you need. So what that means is that you take a test every 4 weeks, and let's say you need additional help with writing, but you're very good at reading and listening, then maybe you will only spend 1 semester in writing, and then you can move to your college level classes. The final level of our intensive English program is a pathway program to college level coursework. And class sizes are about 10 students, and faculty have advanced training with TESOL, and we offer full student support services, including field trips, cultural activities, and academic advising. Okay. Our most popular academic programs are listed here: accounting, biology pre-med, business management, communication, computer science, so any type of information technology, education, both early childhood and secondary, engineering. I'd say the most popular types of engineering are mechanical engineering and structural engineering, English, and then health professions programs, psychology, and sociology. At ECC, you can start at our institution and transfer anywhere in the United States. Although we do have transfer admission guarantees with over 72 universities, if you want to go to a university that we don't have a pathway plan for or a transfer option for, we can create one for you. Every international student is assigned an academic advisor who understands the rules and regulations of being an international student in the United States, and they will help develop a customized pathway plan for you. And like I said, we do have transfer admission guarantees with many universities. Our top ones are Arizona State University, University of Illinois Chicago, Elmhurst College, DePaul University, which is a private university in downtown Chicago, Illinois State University, Northern Illinois University, and more. We're also part of something called the Illinois Articulation Initiative, which is a statewide transfer agreement, which basically means that if you take a class at our institution, it is guaranteed to transfer to more than 100 participating colleges or universities. These are our top transfer institutions. So there was a question earlier about how can I transfer to a top university. And so this is evidence of where some of our students have gone in the last year or so. University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign is one of our top transfer institutions, as well as UIC and Northern Illinois University. Arizona State University has very extensive connections with community colleges, and so you will see a lot of community colleges also have tag agreements with ASU. And you may also notice some of these other universities. Purdue University is very popular over the last year or two with many of our students. It's a private university in Indiana. It's very, very, very good university. And so we've seen a lot of students transfer there, as well as University of Michigan, University of Iowa, UW-Madison, which is also very popular. So this is a sample 2+2 transfer plan. So this would be something that you could expect to see from your academic advisor if you were going to study, let's say, business at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. So this clearly lays out the classes that you need and the sequence in which you should take them for your first semester, second semester, third, and fourth semesters in order to transfer on time and directly to the university. So this is something that you can take a look at closer if you like on your own time. But for example, you would take classes varying from biology to calculus to English comp, statistics, and then you could where it says here physical science, that would mean that you'd have a choice of a certain list of classes to satisfy that particular requirement. And then once you've completed this, you would have your associate degree, and you would be able to transfer to the University of Illinois into the business major if you've met the requirements for that program. Okay. Now, academics is very important, but also in the United States, we also consider student life and the college experience to be very important. At the community college, we have a very, very robust student life program. Our student life program has won regional and state awards. We have 10 athletic teams, including what Americans call soccer, football, basketball, baseball, and more. We have 25 student clubs and organizations. So these organizations vary from International Student Club to student government to Phi Theta Kappa, which is an honor fraternity, to different cultural clubs based on not only ethnicity but also country of origin. So there's lots and lots of things to do. There's also a gamers club. So if you're into gaming, there's art clubs, there's writing clubs, there's religious clubs as well. So lots of different things to do on campus. We also have a very robust music department and theater department, and they're always offering music ensembles and theater productions. And then we also offer cultural excursions and university visits. So major universities come to campus at least once a semester. And they will line hallways and just, an admissions advisor will be there to advise you on and just talk with you about what options are available. So that's nice. So you don't have to travel to a whole bunch of different universities when we offer university transfer fairs on campus. And then, of course, volunteerism is very important. We strongly believe in service learning, and we do encourage our international students to volunteer. Someone had asked earlier about student support services, and student support services overall at a university or college are going to be pretty robust. At ECC, we offer full student support services, but for international, we offer a full service one-stop international office, so you don't have to go to multiple departments to get the advice that you need. So we offer immigration advising, international student recruitment and admissions. So you're not working with the admissions office on one side and then having to transition to an international student office on the other. We will work with you from beginning to end. We also offer visa assistance and advice, housing assistance and study abroad programming. We do semester social events and cultural activities. We run our own international student homestay program in-house. And we also offer assistance with acclimation to American culture, banking, so getting a US checking account, acquiring a driver's license if that's something you want to do, how to get around the local area, and then we also advocate for academic success. At our college, we offer housing for international students through the International Student Homestay Program. which has been around now for about 8 years. And this program offers you the opportunity to live with a local American family. Meals and transportation are provided. You can elect not to choose transportation, but I strongly encourage students to do so. You can have a private or shared room, and it'll have the basic necessities. You'll have a bed, a dresser, a desk, and a closet, and Wi-Fi, of course. There are social events and activities planned throughout the year. And then all of our homestays, so our host families, are vetted through an extensive background check process. So remember we talked about this earlier about how it's important to know where you're going to live and what that homestay experience may look like. We require our host families to go through an application process, an interview process, a home check process, and then every year they are required to undergo an FBI background check. And to the best of our knowledge, we are the only homestay program that requires that in the US. It is a little bit of a burden on our host families to do that every year, but we do feel very strongly that it's an extra layer of safety, and it provides not only the student but also parents with an extra sense that the school has gone through due diligence and done their due diligence to make sure that the host family is as safe and as caring an environment as possible. So as the mother to 3 boys, I would have no problem putting them in a homestay program with these types of safety measures in place. The cost for this is $600 a month without transportation and $800 a month with transportation, which is going to be less than like a 1-bedroom apartment in the area. And that includes everything that you would need, including your meals. So it is a very good deal. We offer a fast and easy application process, as easy as we can make it in line with federal regulations. So these are requirements for admission. You have to fill out an application for admission, and you can do that online. We use Teradata to facilitate online application. It's very easy. You fill out the application, and then you upload all of your documents to our secure portal, and it will be reviewed by an international admissions specialist. If you don't have reliable internet access, or you just don't feel like doing it online, you can also fill out a PDF version and email us all the documents. If you don't want to do any of that and you want to mail it to us, you can do that as well, but most students apply online. We also require an international student financial agreement. That just means that you sign a document that makes sure you understand that what our payment policies are. And then a non-refundable processing fee of $50. The U.S. federal government requires all international students coming to the United States to show proof of financial support for the first year of studies. And we require evidence of financial support in the amount of $19,650, which is quite reasonable. That includes all of your expenses such as tuition, books, insurance, personal expenses, living expenses, health insurance, anything that you can think of. Now, if you are not sponsoring yourself and you're going to be sponsored by someone like your parent or a family member, they need to fill out an affidavit of sponsorship, which is this piece of paper that can be signed electronically. And then we need your high school or secondary education transcripts. Your 10+2 is typically fine. A copy of your passport. And then we do not require proof of English language proficiency upon admission. But if you have graduated from a high school where English is the language of instruction, then you automatically are considered English language proficient. But if you do have a TOEFL or an IELTS score, or Duolingo or any other proof of English language proficiency, including your high school transcripts that indicate that English was the mode of instruction, then we will take that as well. And we strongly advise that you include those with your admissions application. If you've attended any type of like AP exams or IB tests or post-secondary transcripts, we encourage you to submit those as well. Applicants must be at least 17 years of age. Here are costs and deadlines outlined very clearly. Tuition and fees run about $95.10 a year. Books, supplies, and insurance run about $15.90. Living expenses about $85.50, which comes to the $19,650. Now, tuition is assessed at $396 per credit hour. So if you take more credit hours, your tuition is going to go up just a little bit, but most students take between 12 and 15 hours a semester. We accept applications on a rolling basis throughout the year. You need to apply no later than the deadlines listed here. So for fall 2021, you would be looking at applying absolutely no later than July 31st of next year. The priority deadline is June 15th, but this will be the last date that we'll accept any application. We also accept applications in the spring semester, which is January through May, and the summer semester, which is June through August. We are on social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook. We are on email, phone, and you can visit us on the web also at elgin.edu international. So now I am happy to answer any questions. Stop the share. So let's see what kind of questions we have. I don't know if you can see me.
Yes, we can see you, Lauren.
Okay,
Thank you.
very good. Okay, so we're going to go back to some of these questions. Can you share about campus safety for girl students and also campus safety precautions taken by your classrooms, taken by your college for classrooms and for campus if available due to COVID-19? Very good. So again, all institutions are required to disclose their crime stats through the Clery Act. I would have to pull it up, but I think we had maybe like the most common thing we see on our campus is like theft. So if you leave, and even then it's only a couple cases I'd say per year. So if you you leave your backpack and your laptop laying around and you go away for 15 or 20 minutes and you just leave it laying around and nobody is watching it, could someone take it? Maybe. But we have a police force on campus. We have our own police force. They are there to ensure campus safety, and there has been no violent crime or assaults or anything like that for many years on campus. So in terms of safety, we are a very safe campus. I frequently, I'm a female. I frequently walk around campus by myself with no problem. I frequently will work late, and if it's dark outside and I need someone to walk me to my car because I feel like that will make me more safe, then I can just call the police and they'll provide an escort for me. Although I've never done that before, I've always felt very safe walking alone on campus. In terms of COVID-19, I think that's a very, very good question. Excuse me. We are taking very, very strong precautions for fall 2020. I can't speak for the future for spring 2021. I don't know what that will look like, but I can speak to fall 2020. Most of our classes are online for fall 2020, but we are offering many hybrid courses as well. So hybrid is where the students have on campus and online instruction, kind of a blended course. Anyone who comes to campus is required to wear a mask. There are social distancing rules in place. Classes are capped at 10 students per class for fall if they have to come in on campus for specific work that can only be accomplished on campus. And there are also plexiglass screens in high traffic areas. There are hand washing stations throughout campus, as well as hand sanitizer available pretty much any corner you turn around. It is a very large campus. So, depending on where you're at on campus will dictate how many stations there are. And social distancing, there's markers on the floor, there's precautions in place. All of the water fountains are shut down, but you can still fill up water bottles. So the college has taken very good precautions in line with state and federal regulations, and we're following those very closely. Could you share details for housing and also like to learn about meal plans for vegetarian students? So we did talk about Homestay. I hope you did hear that. We do offer a full service Homestay program. Meals are included, breakfast and dinner are included in that. And if you have a specific diet, such as a vegetarian student, you can indicate that on your Homestay application, and we will match you with a family who will be able to accommodate that. If you want to live on your own, and then you will be responsible for your own meals, there is also a cafeteria on campus that offers vegetarian meals for students. It just depends on what it is that you want, but we have like a full salad bar, and there's different meal options that they have every day. Lavanya has another question. What are the I-20 requirements? We did go over that. I hope you did have a chance to look at the admissions requirements and the breakdown of costs. We did go over that. It looks like maybe your question was submitted before we went over that. So I'm going to hope that that answered your question. And then, do we submit I-20 documents before admission or after admission? So you are required to submit admission documents before a school can issue you an I-20. So you must submit those documents I outlined, the financial documents, the transcripts, the passport, and the application for admission before a school can issue you the Form I-20. Once your application is complete, our turnaround time for mailing you an I-20 is about 1 to 2 business days. Are we accepting the Common App for fall 2021? We do not use the Common Application for international students because there is so much information that we are required to collect. So we have our own application that we use, and that's available online. And we are accepting applications for 2021. Armand, which would be preferred, IELTS, TOEFL, or Duolingo? I'm smiling because we get this question a lot. It doesn't matter. If you're asking me which one I prefer TOEFL, just because it's been around a little bit longer. But IELTS or Duolingo are fine as well for purposes of admission. Another question, what are the popular majors pursued and transferred to other university by the students at Elgin Community College? We did talk about our most popular majors, but in my opinion, the most popular majors for international students who then transfer to another university are social sciences, business, anything in the business arena, business management, business administration. It's very popular because it's so flexible. And then engineering would also be very popular as well. Do all credits get transferred when we transfer, and do we start from third of our bachelor's degree program? Yes. So if you have your educational plan with your academic advisor and you've planned out those classes, those credits will transfer to your transfer institution as long as you get a passing grade, right? So some programs may require that they won't take anything less than a C. So you have to get an A, B, or C in the class. And if you get a D, then you may have to retake that class. Some schools do accept C's and D's, but they are pretty rare. And then once you complete your associate degree, you would start at the third or the junior year of your bachelor's degree program at the university. Yes, that is correct. Okay, so those are all of the questions that I see. If you do have additional questions, or you would like further information about our admissions process or would like to apply, please visit us online at elgin.edu/international. There's a lot of information there. Or you can send us an email at internationaladmissions@elgin.edu, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. I'm going to conclude. Yes.
Yes. Can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. My internet is, there's a sign that says it's a little unstable. So I'm just going to quickly come back online if you can see me.
Oh, there you are.
Okay, hello. So thank you so much, Lauren. We truly appreciate your kind time and support for joining us for this session. Students, thank you very much for posting many questions. Really seems to be very interactive today. I can see a couple of them having multiple questions. So this is really good. Thank you for your kind interaction. I will also be sharing in the Q&A on the chat box, Miss Lauren's email. Lauren, would that be okay? Or actually the email, can you put your slide up?
Either one is fine. You can email me directly.
Okay.
I'm gonna actually, can they, Q&A? Oh, I can.
Yeah, in the Q&A.
If you want to share my email, that would be totally fine.
Okay. If you could just kindly post your email as well, in the Q&A, so that other students can have a look at it, or in the chat box, whichever you prefer. And students, we just wanted to also mention that this session, as it was given in our outreach, and thank you, Miss Lauren, for sharing it, your email addresses. Students, it has been posted, so kindly make a note of those. I know there are many of you who asked a lot of questions, so thank you. I know it's late in the evening, so parents, thank you for joining us. Guidance counselors, thank you for joining us. A note to the guidance counselors, this session is recorded and will be shared with your school. So I'm sure all your students were not able to attend today. And if they were not able to attend, please share it with all the other students so that they can directly get in touch with Miss Lauren for their questions, and also learn about the wonderful topic session that she has covered about community colleges, which really expands our knowledge and learning of the US higher education system. Having said that, I think it's a wrap for the day, and I'm going to begin by saying thank you to Miss Lauren once again. I know it was early at 9 a.m. to join us, so we truly appreciate your time in joining us. And thank you to the students for staying up this late and being with us after your school hours. So truly appreciate your kind time. And that's a wrap for today. And I wish you all a good day. And yep, the session recording will be available in the next 24 hours. And of course, Lauren, I'll be sharing a copy of that with you as well. And guidance counselors will be sharing a copy of that with you as well, so that you can share it with your school and other students. Thank you so much, Lauren. We wish you a
Thank
wonderful
you.
day and look forward to keeping in touch with you. Thank you once again.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.